Any Star Wars fans? I love Star Wars. It's cool because like it's one of those things like so many of us share as a culture. Like we all grew up with that. It's like this really sweet thing, one of our first loves. That's not really how I feel about Star Wars though. Like most people love it in that really sweet, like, oh, back in the day, that was so nice. Like it's way more unhealthy for me. It went really deep. I love Star Wars like a first wife, like 3 months after it's all gone to shit, and I'm just showing up drunk on Thanksgiving dinner, just like, why did you make the prequels? And it's just, it gets really bad. And it's always been like this, like even when I was a kid and all my friends were just being chill about it, like, yeah, let's go play around with some lightsabers. I collected the customizable card game. And that is some deep nerd stuff. That is like Magic the Gathering, but for Star Wars. And every single card came with like a screenshot of the film, and I had hundreds of these cards that I bought in little packs of 10 over years of my life. And I would come home from school, and I would turn on the movie, and I would arrange these cards in front of me, and I would wait for the screenshots, and I would just lay the cards in chronological order. That is some creepy child stuff. Like that is not thing normal kids do. That is like me and then my best friend, like the kid who draws really nice pictures of his family and then just scribbles through them over and over and over again. Like that's not healthy. And it's just always been like this. Like I still can't really tell jokes about it. Like the other day I was with some people and we were just sort of talking about it, and we were talking about how like when I would like, you know, how like our favorite characters, and somebody was like, Luke Skywalker's a wimp. I hated him. He was like this totally effete dude. He cried all the time. He had wavy blonde hair. And I started yelling because Luke Skywalker is the only badass in the Star Wars universe. No one else actually is. People act like they are, but they aren't actually. So you've got like Darth Vader, and he's like, yeah, you know, I wear black all the time and I choke some people, but like really all I want to do is reconnect with my lost son. Like that's his entire goal, the whole movie. And then you got like Boba Fett, and he's like, I'm just badass bounty hunter, I fight in space, but really I just fly around and bang into shit and then get eaten by like a sand vagina. It's just really unfortunate. But then Luke Skywalker's like, yeah, somebody killed my aunt and uncle and I was really sad about it, so I hopped in a spaceship and blew up 1 million fucking people with a proton torpedo. That is hardcore. That is the only hardcore character in the entire Star Wars universe. And it pains me that nobody recognizes it because he had long wavy blonde hair. But I will say there is one thing that's like dumb about Star Wars, and it's just like the names. Like the older you get, it really starts to bother you. Like no galactic empire would ever call their like flagship thing the Death Star. Like that's really stupid. Like they would call it something like Operation Alderani Freedom or something. Like they would make it sound really good, even if it's not. So that's the shit I spent my time thinking about as a kid. Like nerdy kids these days are different though. They do like productive stuff. Like they do spelling bees. Have you guys ever seen like a kid spelling bee? I watched Spellbound. It's this really cool documentary. You guys should check it out. It's all about like kids doing spelling bees. And there were two things that came through like really clearly watching that. And one is that like these kids are amazing. They're like passionate and dedicated, and they work really, really hard, and they really care so much. And two is that their parents fucking hate them, despise them, because there's no reason to make your child do that. And the dictionary is a horrible, horrible book. And I know it doesn't sound like it. I know you guys are thinking like, yeah, that's stupid. But seriously, the dictionary, if you actually read that stuff, is full of words that no child should ever be exposed to. Like, let's go for an example. Bescumber. Anyone know bescumber? Bescumber? Bescumber is a word, and the definition is to expel, ordure upon. Which doesn't sound that bad until you figure out that ordure just means shit. So that entire word is just this really arcane word for like to take a shit on a thing. And really no 10-year-old should know that you can ever shit on things. They should really only think that you can shit in things, like toilets and diapers. Only 50-year-old German couples with fetish websites and webcams need to know that you can shit on things. But the parents are really funny about it because they're always like, oh, my kid just loves it. He's just so into it. He's just really into it. I'm like, well, yeah, of course he is. He doesn't know any better. Like, this is all you train. If you locked him in a cave for 5 years, he'd come out being like, I am just super into stalagmites. I love guano. Man, just darkness. I'm so into darkness. But you give that kid an Xbox for like 2 weeks, and he is never spelling any word again except ponage. And he's gonna spell it wrong. Which is actually not true. Like, can you imagine if a spelling bee started playing Xbox? He would be the best shit talker ever. He would be like, I just bescumbered all over your face! Which would be pretty. I'm 24 and still a college student, which makes me a little older than the average college kid, but I didn't think it was a problem. Like, I thought I could pass until a few weeks ago when that idea died. I was talking to this girl, and she was in one of my classes last quarter, and like, she was pretty cool, and we got to where like we're getting there like 5 minutes early and talking, and then hanging out like 10 minutes after and talking. I was like, okay, this is a girl I need to ask for coffee. Like, this is how this works. And so I did, and I was dumb about it because I asked her before class, which was stupid. And I was like, hey, you know, you seem pretty cool. Do you mind if I like buy you a meal sometime? And she was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Ugh, and I think she saw the look on my face, and she was like, no, look, you seem really cool. It's just I'm not that into older dudes. Ugh. And I really didn't have the guts to ask if like being 24 meant I was an older dude, or if I just looked like I'm 30. Like, I don't know which is worse. I really don't want to know. But so that's when I realized, like, I can't pass as just a normal college student. But you know what? That's a good thing. Because anyone here a college student? Anyone? Fuck all y'all. College students are the worst. Like, they don't know what good is ever. Like, you get a kid, and he comes to college, and he's 18, and they're like, hey, welcome to college. Here are your professors. These are the men and women that are like the top of their field. They've studied, dedicated years of their life, and now they're here to teach you things so that you can go be a more meaningful and worthwhile human being. To which, like, a college freshman responds, 9 a.m. classes, fuck that shit. And then it's like, oh yeah, and then you've got your fellow students, and it's like, hey, look, these are the brightest young minds of your generation. You have 4 years to grow together and learn and start working together to like solve the world's problems and build a future that you and your children deserve to grow up in. To which the college student replies, you don't get really into beer pong? super into beer pong. But the worst, the thing that like really just turned it all around for me and made me just realize I don't even want to be around college kids is I finally went to the cafeteria on campus. And I'd avoided the cafeteria like the plague for my first year here because cafeterias are for kindergartners and really old ladies who can't remember their grandkids' names. Like, that is what cafeterias are for. And that's what I thought. So people would be like, hey, you want to go to the cafeteria? I'm like, no, I'm not 5. But finally, I broke down, somebody was like, I'll swipe you in, let's go, and I walk in, and that place is fucking magic. Like, if you get a chance, you need to go there, because you walk in, and it's just food, fresh food, everywhere, and you can have as much as you want. There's a button that you can push where chocolate milk will come out until you stop pushing that button. That is some Willy Wonka shit right there. You don't get that anywhere else, guys. It's amazing. But the best part is that they have this little conveyor belt, and it just makes fresh baked cookies all damn day. Just start to finish, it's just going through. And you can just walk up, and you can take a cookie, and you can go eat it. And then guess what? You can come back, and you can take another cookie, and you can eat that cookie too. And I was like, this is it. This is all life is. It doesn't get better than this. And I'm sitting there, and I'm in a line, you know, there's a little line for the cookies, and somebody comes up, and they try to grab 4 plates of cookies. And the lady behind the counter, super sweet lady, just goes, oh honey, I'm sorry, it's 2 at a time. To which the college student responds, well, that's bullshit, and walks off with their 2 cookies. Fuck you! Those people created a cookie pipe that you can hook up to your mouth as long as you want, and you are complaining that the pipe is not wide enough. That is unacceptable. That is not just immaturity, that is like entitlement. And until you get that shit figured out, I know exactly where you can put your cookie pipe. We don't know what to be afraid of in this culture anymore. Like, I don't mean to preach, but like, I was going out with this girl the other night, there was this horror movie, she's like, oh, I don't want to see the horror movie, it's scary. So horror movies aren't scary. Clowns, by the way, everybody's scared of clowns now. Clowns are not fucking scary. You know what's scary? Your dad could get Alzheimer's tomorrow. That shit's scary. Like, that book idea you have is stupid. That shit is scary. Like, that girl that you were so in love with will always love the jerk she dated before you more than you. That shit is scary. The world is running out of food. There is no ice. These are the things that we should be afraid of, but instead we're like, oh shit, a clown. I've been thinking about committing suicide. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it. And the reason that I'm not going to do it is because it's just not as badass as it used to be. Suicide used to be so hardcore. There's like, you've got this, I was doing some research, and there was this group of martyrs in like really ancient Rome who just decided that they didn't like the fact that they didn't have religious freedom, so they walked out on the street and started preaching until somebody came and chopped their head off. And then a person went and stood on the corpse of that person and kept preaching until someone came and chopped their head off. That shit is legit. That is some badass motherfuckery right there. Where you've got like Lucretia, like, I don't know if you guys know the history of Lucretia. She was like this girl, and like a prince came and he sort of like abused her and stuff, and she went to her dad. She was like, "Dad, avenge me," and then she stabbed herself in the heart. And the dad got so pissed that he went and killed the guy who did it and founded the Roman Empire. Like, she single-handedly created the Roman. I can't compete with that. They're gonna be like, "How'd Michael Tabor go?" He's like, "Oh, he took a bunch of sleeping pills and watched Storage Wars for a while." There were like 20 bags of Cheetos around him. That's all I got, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.